for more of the implications of President Xi's European visit. I'm joined now by Jonathan Broder, an award-winning senior writer for Newsweek. Jonathan, several agreements between China and France, but the biggest one appears to be this deal with Airbus, estimated at some 30 billion euros. What do you make of all the numbers, given Europe's somewhat cautious view of China right now?
There's a bit of a contradiction there. I mean, President Macron talked about the era of European naivete toward China being over at the same time that he signed all these agreements. So it really wasn't clear what Macron meant about the end of naivete, nor what he meant about a more unified European response to the Chinese. It seems the agreements that he signed would seem to contradict what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a big state dinner, agreements, not just Airbus, but when it comes to food, climate change. We know that China and France are big partners when it comes to climate change. Another big deal with a wind farm, offshore wind farm in China. Do you think we can expect more collaboration, especially when it comes to the global leadership of climate change?
I think that both China and France are very much committed to climate change, to fighting climate change. So I think that more agreements are possible there. I think that what Macron tried to do when he spoke with Xi was he basically said, when you're talking to me, President Macron, you're talking to Europe. He tried to represent all of Europe. However, tomorrow, Tuesday, he will be meeting, President Xi will be meeting with German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and as your correspondent said, the President of the European Commission, of the European Union, Jean-Claude Juncker. I think that meeting might be a little bit tougher than the meetings that President Xi has had so far.
What will you be looking for when that meeting happens? What will you be watching
What
for?
I'll be looking for would be statements by Angela Merkel and Juncker, where they're looking for more transparency in China's dealings with trade dealings with Europe. The feeling with Juncker and Merkel and with Macron is that while China does a great deal of business with Europe, it's not as open to Europeans doing business in China.
So they want more an easier way into China,
exactly,
so to speak.
Yes.
But at the same time, as you pointed out earlier, there is sort of this front line, but individually, each country does its own deal with China. We know that China does a lot with Germany, for example, and has in recent months.
Right. Now, and also, France doesn't really have the leverage that Germany has. I think 2% of trade between China and Europe is made up by France, whereas Germany like 5 times that much. So Germany has a bit more leverage.
Once this all ends, after this meeting, you know, President Xi spent 6 days in Europe, Italy, the Belt and Road, Monaco, now France. What do you think are the biggest takeaways? I mean, trade, obviously, but what do you think is the one big takeaway from this European tour?
Well, it's not only trade. First of all, the agreement with Italy was very, very significant. Italy is the first of the G7, the 7 largest economies in the world, to make an agreement with China. This was not only against the pleas of the United States, but it was also against the pleas of Brussels. Neither of them wanted Italy to make this agreement. Now, Italy has huge debt problems, and China is coming in, as it has in other countries around the world, basically offering investment and a lot of money. And these deals were basically too good for Italy to reject. So I think that the high point in terms of Belt and Road and trade would be Italy. Even Monaco, which is a tiny little principality on the coast of France, China is going to be doing their, Huawei will be doing their 5G network setup. What's really important, though, is not only the trade part, but the political part. What this shows is that China is able to make inroads into Europe at a time when China is rising, America is withdrawing from the world stage, and Europe is divided. So it's a perfect time for China to go in.
Jonathan Broder, thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it. We'll see how tomorrow ends up.
Okay.
Thank you.